All right, so today I'm going to present to you the OWASP top 10 list. This is how to test for the vulnerabilities that OWASP has defined as the most dangerous and most critical. I'm going to take a very high-level approach to mostly low-hanging fruit, and I'm going to show you how to test for the vulnerabilities and not necessarily how to remediate. So within a UI, how do you know what to test for security vulnerabilities? How do you know where to begin when just looking at it? How do you really make sense from all the chaos? Now, the great place to start is with the OWASP top 10. There's security professionals who have already done a lot of the heavy lifting for you. And this is the 2013 list that I'm going to go through. There's currently a call out for the 2016 or most likely 2017 version, so if you are an expert, please contribute. Now, the DBWA is a great site to try out. It gives examples, and here you can see that there's functions that use SQL statements. But what happens if you can break out? Try to use single or double quotes and then execute your own SQL commands. You never know if you can bypass authentication or get to spell data tables, or drop all tables if you're into XKCD. Now, in terms of broken authentication, if you are able to resend a valid session cookie for a current user or after they've logged out, can you resend their cookie? You might be able to get access to their account if the authentication is set up. Here are 3 scripts that you can use to test for cross-site scripting. Right here is a very bad example screenshot. You have a URL parameter that takes an input, displays the screen, and then that gets interpreted by the browser. Now, some of the ways around that, a lot of poor validations use regex to try and find script tags. You can try and get around that with obfuscation. So what do those seemingly random characters all have in common? For those familiar with hex or Unicode, those all represent the less than sign. And that is some of the ways that you can get around for authentication. So when objects are directly passed either in the URL or in the body, if you directly reference them, what if you change it? So what if you add 1 to the account? What if you try and access John Smith or username? Does it give you access? Here is you want to try and test for objects that directly reference systems on the file. This is obviously an extreme case, but if it gives you the password, that's pretty bad. You want to try and limit that. Always look for default passwords, especially for services that are running, or if they tell you what the default password is for all their admin accounts. You also want to look for weak cryptography and communication in TLS or encryption on the database. So a good thing to do is to try and break an application and see if it'll spit back a stack trace for you. That contains a goldmine of information for expected processes or what is running on the back end. Now, a lot of times developers take shortcuts. They might include information such as passwords or other IP addresses, things that you really don't want to see. So try and look for those. Now, authentication. If you try and go to authenticated or escalated privileged users, sometimes the server will, give it to you. If you access a page and a server doesn't think you should be there, it might accidentally escalate your privileges. Now, cross-site script request forgeries. If there aren't CSRF tokens or nonces tokens that are random sent with requests, you can resend them as a valid user. Now, you also want to use the Sonatype CLM or the OWASP dependency checker to try and test for vulnerabilities within the libraries of the application. This is based on the National Vulnerability Database. It contains hundreds of thousands of vulnerabilities. Also look for unvalid redirects and forwards. If you can attack a downstream site, go for it. Try it out. There was obviously if you have if it's within your bounds. Now, there was recently in the last presidential campaign a person's page who sent you to their opponents. Also, in a similar vein, if you are forwarded to Bank of America, how do you know which one of these is valid? The one on the left is, the one on the right is not. Now, most applications have a very secure outer shell, but once you're inside, you're considered trusted and often given too many privileges. One of the ways to try and test for that or to escalate purposes inside is to use the OWASP top 10 to try and get in or escalate.